Who here remembers Jurassic Park Builder? This game is very special to me, for it did a lot for me. Because of it, I was able to discover the Gaming Beaver. My first channel got a lot of attention because of it. And it was the only one of Ludia's games where it felt like I could complete and collect all of the dinosaurs without having to make a microtransaction. Until the Indominus Rex showed up, but we're not going to talk about him. But one of the most appealing factors of that game was all of the dinosaurs and the crazy colors they all came in. And one of my favorites from that game was the Kaprosuchus. Honestly, the Kaprosuchus, I never heard of it before, but then that game introduced me to that species, and it's now one of my favorite prehistoric animals ever. And that color scheme has never left my mind. Like the one in Jurassic World the game and the one in Jurassic World Alive, they're nice, but I will never ever find anything that can top how that one looked. So I bought myself a toy and painted it to look exactly like it. Well, not exactly like it, but just similar to it. That's right, it's been a very long time since I last did a Rampant repaint, and now we are back finally showing off the Kaprosuchus, and the tail is gonna, yep, there we go. Everyone buckle up and grab some popcorn, because I got quite the story about the journey of turning this into this. So I was visiting a Michael's that was pretty far away from the one I'm used to, like a different Michael's in a different area. There was one single Kaprosuchus. I had never seen a Schleich Kaprosuchus in my life, and this was the first time I finally found one. But unfortunately, there was one problem with it. Its teeth. It had a missing tooth here and here. Of course, I had to molded on new teeth with clay, so you can see it does look the quality is definitely a lot more different than all the other teeth. However, I did intentionally leave this one out to just make it look like a battle scar. As I mentioned in a previous video, broken toys can just look like cool battle scars in my eyes. Before it was a nice color, but it wasn't like the color I want. I've always wanted this Kaprosuchus, and I finally have it. Oh, it's so good to have just this in my hands. The Kaprosuchus with the colors of Jurassic Park Builder. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The painting process goes as follows. First, I just drenched the whole thing in black paint, which was just very easy. I tried to avoid getting stuff onto the teeth, but eventually I did end up getting a few black splotches onto the teeth. No, there wasn't really anything. There was some hard parts getting into the tails, like getting the paint to get into the crevices. So there was a lot of coats necessary before this thing was finally pitch black. Then I painted the whole thing purple over the black, a very dark purple. Although I didn't really drench it, it was just more like dry brushing. Although I guess it's hard to see on the belly actually. But then there was I think you can sort of see on the leg how I blended in the black with the purple, sort of, and you can see a bit of the original black in the tail. Yeah, there you go, you can actually see it. So that's what I did there, until the whole thing was basically purple and black. Now if you look at the pattern, you can see the smarter thing to do probably would have been to paint it all purple first and then black, but then I knew the purple wouldn't fully stick and you would still see traces of the original color underneath, so it was best to paint the whole thing black first, then paint it purple, and then repaint the black stripes. But then I'm getting ahead of myself. First, before that, I had to mix my own shades of lighter purple because I couldn't find the right shade of purple for the Kaprosuchus. And then I ended up with well, you can see the color here, it's very light. It actually looked really nice with that dry brushing of very light purple contrasted with the dark purple. I left the belly dark purple for the sake of, for belly reasons, just to give it a belly. Because you know how Mattel, their dinosaurs don't actually have belly paint most of the time, so I decided to give you some form of belly paint by leaving it darker under there. And then after that, I started painting I started dry brushing on Color Shift Purple. Is this purple? Yeah, it's right there. Color Shift Purple Flash Violet Brilliant. That's basically what I started doing, so that when it would shine in the sun, it would actually look bluish purple. I painted on the black stripes onto, well, the back, which was actually not very difficult because my tiny brushes are all fizzled out. So it was just very difficult to get the exact shape I wanted. And then painting the blue outline on top of those black stripes was just even more difficult. And I started to think it was looking a bit messy. But once I finally added on the final bits of blue color shift, not the same purple, the blue stripes were colored in with this blue flash, then finally it was ready. It just looked very nice. All that was left to do was the eyes. Now you know as much as I do how much I hate having to paint the eyes because they're always so tiny and they're so difficult to paint. Actually, this one turned out quite nicely. Honestly, compared to any other figure that I've painted, the eyes on this one look the best. I think it's because this one already had indents to show where the pupils should be. So all I had to do was grab like a very thin, like not even a paintbrush. I could just grab one of my clay sculpting tools, dip it in black paint, and then insert it through the slit where the pupil is. And boom, we have some good looking eyes. I also repainted the teeth very light gray because I know yellow teeth is more natural for an animal, but yellow teeth is just a disgusting color. And I wanted to like make sure that the colors would all match for the teeth, and I didn't have the right yellow paint for it. So I painted them all gray, and now, ooh, yeah, they feel nice. I'm still gentle with this because even though I super glued it on, it's still a chance that could break off. So I have to be careful. But yes, now he is complete. A Jurassic Park Builder, Kaprosuchus. Not really full-on like Jurassic Park Builder because the patterns on the back of like, if you look at the images, you'll see that the Kaprosuchus' back in Jurassic Park Builder are a lot more complex than just regular stripings. They're actually intersecting and even forming some circular patterns there. Not this. I simplified it for the sake of me not going insane because I'm not an expert painter. Even though this turned out really, really nice. Like, if you shine this thing in the sun, it's gonna look really good. But it's still, what point was I trying to make? I'm trying to say it's not simple, but it is simple. This was probably one of the most complex paints I've ever had to do, with all the patterning and all of the color shifting and everything. I really like the way the mouth turned out. Like, it's probably hard to pick it up on camera. Actually, the colors look a lot brighter on the camera, if I'm being honest. But it's really not showing, because the way I'm looking at it, the horns are a light blue, but on the camera it looks very purple. So, yeah. Oh, yeah, I also color shifted his back little hinges there. I was thinking of, like, painting all of his ridges, like, blue spikes along. But because I think I like them in, like, these all different colors. Like, some are blue, some are purple, and some are black. This mix of all these three cool colors just makes such a very, very nice-looking crocodile. And his feet are still color shifted, like blending in with the rest of the colors. It starts out with the regular shining purple, then a dark purple, and then a black. Very nice indeed. Oh, this video is like not as long as I thought it was gonna be. There's really not much else for me to say other than how much I love the way this one turned out. Probably one of my favorite repaints ever. Next repaint this is usually the part where I'd say that my next Rampant repaint video would probably be like a clay creation, because even though it's not painting, it does count as like a creative thing, and I'd rather leave it in the same series than start a whole new series that would just go unwatched or something. Because clay, I started out with clay before I started doing painting, and it's been too long since I last started molding something, and I would really like to do something like that again. So my next video should be a clay sculpture one, which is what I want to say, but unfortunately now is not the time for me to actually do some clay sculpting, because the state of my fingers right now, it's that time of year where my fingers just give into the heat and just start shedding. You think Kevin's the only one who sheds? No, I shed too. Look at this damage. Look at the damage here. I can't possibly create anything out of clay without leaving just skin marks, just weird impressions, or even just having this weird feeling on my fingers. Ugh, I can't do it. So unfortunately, no clay sculptures. Still gonna be painting. I can paint because it doesn't involve my fingers, it involves a paintbrush. Next one I'm gonna do is the Pentaceratops, which is what I said last time, right? I said that I wanted to do the Pentaceratops after I'm done with the Caprosuchus. So, expect to see the Dinosaur King Pentaceratops in the next episode of Rampant Repaints. Until then, that's about it. This is not one of my more complex videos. Like, it's not like Grimm, where I had this clever opening where Hilda gets chased by Grimm, or the Jacksepticeye one, where I start with the Iguanodon just having Jacksepticeye's voice. I don't really have a personality for this guy. I mean, I do have, like, when I was, like, in my high school days, I always just gave this guy, like, this Caprosuchus a personality. I made these little, like, little comics with the Jurassic Park builder Caprosuchus, where he's continuously trying to hunt down a narwhal, and then it became like a little Tom and Jerry-esque comic thing, where just a narwhal named Gnarly, and a Caprosuchus named Gate. Yes. So yes, I guess I'll call him Gate. Because that's the name I've always given him. Anyway, I'm gonna continue to gush over how I finally have this thing in my hand. See you next time!